Alright, hello, I'm Kelvin. Alright, so what if you could save the environment and live healthier without spending any extra money? What if you could save the environment better than your neighbor Phil, who drives a hybrid? You could do that by simply eating less meat. And we're going to talk about why eating as much meat as the average American is bad for your health and the environment. So what is at stake when you eat too much meat? Your health. Eating too much meat can cause a variety of health problems, including various cancers, cardiovascular disease, stroke, diabetes, obesity. It worsens gout, makes arthritis symptoms worse, and more. Your quality of life simply diminishes when you eat too much meat, which is easier to do than you might think. And also the environment. The environment doesn't appreciate it either. And why should we care? And that's because the average American consumes enough resources that if everyone lived like us, we would need 4 Earths to sustain human life. Many people brush that off because they think it's not going to become a problem in their lifetime. But unfortunately, many of those people are wrong. If we continue current food trends, many will be forced to starve by 2050. Food shortage for 2050. This estimate was created by the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations. So where is all the food going that we grow? 1/3 of all crops grown in the United States are...
Nation.
Yeah, 1/3 of all crops are fed to livestock. And 1/4 of all ice-free land is devoted to cattle and they're growing food for the cattle. Just in the United States, our meat food eats enough crops to feed 880 million people. That study was published 20 years ago, and meat production is only increasing in the United States and many other parts of the world. So drinkable water will also one day be in short supply in many parts of the world, including the highly desirable Colorado that everybody wants to move to. Colorado is expected to have a water shortage within the next couple of decades. So, have fun with that. So how much water does it take to produce a pound of beef? It takes about 1,800 gallons to produce 1 pound of beef. And it takes about 500 gallons to produce chicken. Chicken is the most water-friendly of our turf meat. All the nuts, fruits, and vegetables I could find use significantly less water than beef. Chocolate, however, uses more water than beef. Somewhere between 30 to 50% more water than beef. And producing meat contributes to greenhouse gases. It doesn't matter if you think these greenhouse gases contribute to global warming or not. A simple science experiment can prove that higher levels of carbon dioxide will trap more heat. So, carbon dioxide. All of the cows, not all the cows, just in California, all of their cows, 1.8 million of them, produce as much carbon dioxide as 2.5 million cars. Cows are also a huge producer of methane. Methane is 30 times more polluting than carbon dioxide, and cows produce 36% of all methane produced by humans. And that's according to the EPA. And this is not including all the emissions caused by growing the food, transporting the food to the cattle, transporting the cattle from the farms to the slaughterhouses, and from the slaughterhouses to retail outlets. So we used to think of power plants and cars when we think of global warming, but livestock, especially cows, can have major impacts. And now that you know why this is a problem, let's talk about what can be done to fix it. So, you don't actually have to quit eating meat, or quit eating red meat. You could just start eating a bit less of it. And this one is simple. Just start eating less meat once or twice a week, and try not to make up for it by eating more on another day. And it's actually easy to get all of the vitamins and minerals that you need from fruits, vegetables, nuts, seaweed, fish. You don't actually need meat to survive at all. You can also get plenty of protein and all 9 essential amino acids through fruits and vegetables. And most people don't know that. So, how much meat is too much meat? According to a doctor at Harvard's Men's Health Watch, there is still a small risk in eating as little as 3 ounces of red meat per day. So how much red meat should we eat? According to the same doctor, there doesn't appear to be a risk in eating red meat once or twice a week. So you can still eat it, just not very much. So also, a lot of food is just simply thrown into the trash can. As of 2012, a study by the National Resource Defense Council came up with a study that showed that Americans throw away 40% of the food that we actually produce. 40%. That's an average of $1,800 per year per household. That it also equals to about 37 million cars every year. Food, wasted food, is also the largest contributor to landfills. So, think about that. You could reduce this by rotating your food at home. Put older food in the front of your freezer, cabinets, refrigerator, so that you use it first. Also, don't buy more food than you're going to eat. Don't cook before it expires. Don't cook more food than you're going to eat before it goes bad. Try to eat all the leftovers. And also, when you are throwing away food, take note of what you are throwing away so you don't keep buying the food that you don't need. So, also, don't buy more, don't buy more tortillas if you have an unused package at home, Jesse. So, raising awareness. This is actually probably harder than you might think. There's an irrational push against vegetarianism, veganism, and eating less meat because people think that it doesn't impact their health. So, like, you go on the internet, talk about vegetarianism or anything, people make tasteless jokes about eating more meat as if they're trying to be insulting. Most people don't know exactly how bad their meat actually can be. You get the point. There's this irrational push against vegetarianism, along with a huge science denial epidemic in the United States, which leads to our next solution, which is probably the least favorable one. It's taxing meat. This would reduce spending on healthcare by $20 billion a year. If that reduction was voluntary instead of tax-forced, you could still enjoy reasonably priced meat at healthy levels instead. So this tax on meat, in my opinion, wouldn't be meant to save lives. It would be meant to provide more sustainability for future generations. And in my opinion, that's what's more important. And now that we've talked about what we can do to fix the problem, what would the future look like if the problem were to be fixed? Well, first off, unfortunately, there would be less jobs in the meat production industry. But it's responsible to reduce this industry, unfortunately. Health and quality of life would improve. As I said earlier, causes a variety of illnesses, and a big one that everybody can relate to, arthritis, or most people can. It makes arthritis symptoms worse. Worldwide, about 7 million deaths a year would be prevented if people ate healthy amounts of meat. Life expectancy would improve, obesity levels would drop. And why? So, for decades, people have been eating less fat, but people have been just getting fatter. And that's because fats don't actually make you fat. It's also people have been eating more protein, so people have been eating more red meat, so it's probably red meat. So America would save $20 billion in healthcare expenses. And America would be looked at with more respect from the world, and it would be a good example for the rest of the world to follow, especially countries that have similar problems, which is pretty much the whole world. If people ate less meat, especially red meat, that 2050 food crisis could be averted. I really don't want to see a time, and it would happen in my lifetime, when countries around the world are facing starvation, and not even the rich countries can afford to donate any food, because there isn't actually the food to be donated. So, with all with all the waste now, the future will be about maximum efficiency. So let's be more efficient now, starting with our food. Thank you.